Hey, what's up everybody? Mr.G_squared here, and thank you very much for joining me on this tutorial video on GIMP and applying the Grunge texture layer effect. Mainly to text. You can do it on other things too, but it makes a lot of sense to use it on text. What you're looking at right now is the final product of what we just are about to create, actually. So, without any more introduction, let's jump right into this, take a look at step 1, and then do step 1. Alrighty, as you just saw, step 1, pretty cut clean, pretty simple, just type the text. Let's pop up here, let's get our text tool, and click in our canvas. Right now we've got a default variable bold set, but let's go ahead and type something in. Let's type in grunge, first of all. Select that, make that a little bit bigger. You know, just to show how this kind of works, let's throw this down low here. No, let's put it in the center, whatever. And let's create a second layer. A second texture layer. And we're gonna have this say texture effect for text. Select that, and let's just bump that size up. Not make that too terribly big. There we go. Let's say you had some text. Just a big chunk of text and a little chunk of text that you're looking to add an effect to. We're going to use these as our example, and let's move on to step 2. Alrighty, so step 2 is pretty simple as well, and that's just figuring out what you want your texture to look like. In this particular tutorial, I'm going to use a pretty generic one. I went on to Picabay and I grabbed a picture of wood grain. That's it. It's really going to make our text look good once we're done with it. So what do we need to do once we've imported our wood grain picture? All we really need to do is drop the occupancy down from 100 to around 80%. So we'll just put it at 80 right now. And that's it. Let's move on to step 3. Alright, step 3. Very simple. We need to create layer masks on our text layers, and then we need to copy our texture layer of the wood onto those layer masks of our text layers. So we're going to right click on this and add a layer mask to both of these. I personally just leave it the default. White full occupancy is just fine for what we're doing. Same thing with this. Right click and add the layer mask. And add. Perfect. Now we're going to take our texture layer. I'm going to swap these just because they're backwards. There we go. We're going to take our texture layer and we're going to copy it onto those layer masks. So let's go ahead and hit Control C. Another way to do this is to go into the edit field. You can see copy and paste here. Control C, Control V are just the quick keys, and that's what I'm going to use. Now we need to select the layer mask of the grunge, and we're going to say paste. Now when you first paste this, it's going to come in as a floating selection. We need to anchor that, and because we had the layer mask selected, it's going to anchor it right to where we were. And as you can see here, it did just that. Same thing with the texture, we still have the copy, so we'll just paste again. It's also going to give us the floating selector, and we're going to anchor that down to our layer mask. That's it for step number 3. Let's jump into step 4 where it really gets to where you can tell what this is going to look like. Alrighty, step 4 as you just saw, we're getting ready to add the color and we're going to create the drop shadow to our text. We're going to make it actually look good now. So first thing we're going to do is hide the visibility of our texture layer. Alright, now we need to pick what color we're going to want our font to be. This is really the part where it gets where you need to customize it. We're going to go with kind of like a bright red color, I think, for this tutorial. Let's grab the red. Let's grab our paint bucket tool. And what we need to do is click on, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. We need to click on each letter. Oh, well, that's a mistake already. So I'm going to Control Z to undo that. And I'm going to tell you what I just did. I still have the layer mask selected. We need to go back and select our text of the text layer. So once you have that selected, you need to click on each letter of this to apply the color that you want your text to actually read. As you can see, it's doing that real nicely for us. Let's scroll over here so we can do the rest of this. Effect. Oh, that R in 4 is really tiny there, huh? And now we need to do the same thing to our second layer, which is just the word grunge. Alright, so let's zoom back out here. There we go. Now we need to add the drop shadow to it. And the drop shadow is what's really going to make it pop out. What's going to add the texture effect to it is just putting on a drop shadow at this point. So we have grunge selected, so we're going to go up to filter, go down to light and noise, scroll over and select drop shadow. For the grunge text effect in the drop shadow settings, I prefer to use an X offset of 1, a Y offset of 1, a blur radius 8, 9, 10, whatever. I always just use 8 anymore. I usually always make it black, but again, that depends on how you want your effect to look. This is more where it gets personal. For the purpose of this tutorial, we're going to leave it black and set the occupancy at 100%. Occupancy, that's not the right word. Whatever. There we see it's created the black background with our red and that black background of the text effect. It looks pretty good now. So now what we need to do, let's add the drop shadow to the other one. We're just going to go up to filters and repeat it. Boom, texture effect for text. And that's really it. That's all there is to do to create the grunge text effect. It really adds a lot to your text for whatever it is you're doing, whether you're doing, you know, what I'm doing it for right now to show you guys how to do it. And I'm going to use this in the thumbnail we saw at the beginning of this video. Stuff you can do like that, school projects, work presentations, whatever it is you're doing, odds are you can probably do this and it'll look really great. There's a ton of different effects you can use as well. I've used lightning effects before where the lightning shoots across it. You can put like bullet penetration marks through like steel, the wood grain, which we used. There's like steel plating, looks pretty cool. I mean, you name it, you can put it as a grunge text effect. See what it looks like. If you like it, use it. If you don't, well, not a big deal. This took what, like 5 minutes to do? So let's move on to our final step in this video, which is just going to be applying a background. Alright, so here we are. Now, for applying a background, there's a couple different things you can do. This can be applied to a background you've already created, for instance, like a thumbnail for a YouTube video, or we can just create a background on it, which is what I'm actually going to do right now. And to do that, and the only reason I'm showing you this is so you can just kind of see how cool it can look on backgrounds and different effects. If you are subscribed to my YouTube channel, I use this all the time for my thumbnails. So if you are, go back and look at it. You can see where I've used this on, because it's pretty obvious with the texture effect and how different and unique you can make your stuff look. Well, let's go ahead. Let's just do our blend tool. I've already got it set on spiral. I've got the background layer selected. Let's just drag a spiral across here. I don't have the background visible. There we go. Let's flip that, actually. Let's make it black and then white. Like that. There, that looks pretty cool, I guess. Looks cool on the background. You can still read it. It's really clear because we use that red. Where it's black, it's pretty obvious. The white doesn't look as good, but because we have that black drop shadow, you can still read it. Still makes it visible to you. So let's just go ahead and add a couple more images into this, and we'll call it good. Alrighty. And there you have it. I just added, you know, a little picture of a GIMP icon. I threw my own personal logo down here in the corner. But that's all there is to it. I mean, generic background. I mean, this can be applied, like I said previously, to a ton of other backgrounds. Tons of stuff this is useful for. So if you guys really like this, go ahead and like the vid. Give me a comment down below on what you thought. If you want some more GIMP type tutorials, please let me know. I have a few things that I've done with it that I'd be more than willing to take the little bit of time that it takes to make one of these videos again for other things. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, there's also down in the description of this video the, like, what, 5, 6, maybe, I don't remember how many steps there are now. I think there's like 5. The 5 steps are down there as well. So check that out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.